In 1952, the U.S. government established a unit for the systematic study of UFOs. Project Blue Book was the code name. This project was terminated in 1969. Their conclusion? UFOs don't exist. We know otherwise. In 2022, QNC developed Project Notebook for the systematic identification, investigation, and completion of unfinished objects, or UFOs. We will prove not only that UFOs exist, but that they can be finished. The truth is out there. I can't see anything.
Okay. Welcome to Quilton Codes. Uh-oh, I totally screwed it up.
Is it a UAP or a UFO or a UPO?
No.
What are the symbols this week?
We are the QNC Area 208 UFO headquarters. UFO headquarters. I do believe it's been a month or two since we've done this because I am out of practice of being in front of the camera.
Yes, our script is an unfinished object.
It is an unfinished object, but we have so much stuff to share with you today. So let's get started. So we are here to help you finish your unfinished objects, or quilt projects, or needlework projects, or binding projects, or whatever craft project you happen to have going. We have 2 tips for you today. We are talking about time and how none of us have any of it. And I'm going to also...
Einstein's fault.
All Einstein's fault.
Because he told us we couldn't have time machines.
Well, I know. And I keep asking God, if I just had 8 hours, I swear I would devote 2 to sleep. Just 2. I'll give you 2. All right.
Don't believe it. Sorry.
So we are so glad you are here. We are so glad you're here tonight. So time. I have no time to do anything. Anybody else out there have absolutely no time to do anything? Like, I feel like I'm not doing anything well. I'm not feeding my family correctly. I'm not getting all my work done. I'm not doing any of it right. So we all just need to take a deep breath. And bring it back to our priorities. And so UFOs are definitely a priority because most of those projects are already half done. Some of those projects...
I'm making sure that they don't come.
We don't have any flying UFOs this time. Agent L was falling down on the job. So you'll have to tune in next month on the 13th to see the flying UFOs so that we can actually do some actual shooting. That would be nice again. Right.
Maybe we eliminated them all.
Right. Agent G is covering her face. All right. So.
I already shot me once.
Right. Before we were on camera, that didn't go well. So, obviously, I can't be trusted with a gun. So, time. The wonderful thing about UFOs is that they're almost done. Okay? So, pick up a UFO this month, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you can actually get that sucker done. Okay.
The wonderful thing about UFOs are wonderful things.
You stopped.
Couldn't come up with a rhyme.
So the other thing I feel is a necessity in some of these UFOs, and the reason why we have UFOs is sitting right here. So I'm creating this lovely YouTube video for this casserole cover that is super quick, super easy, and super fun, and a wonderful gift idea. But I got to the very end and broke a needle. And so I said, okay, I can't do this right now because I have other things I need to do. I cannot mess with changing a needle and fixing because my bobbin case popped out of case. Yeah, anyway. So I said, I'm going to come back to it later. I'm glad I did. I came back to it, opened up my machine to clean everything out. I don't think I have done that in a very, very long time. And so you should see, I had a little clump of dust that was about that big. So if you have not cleaned your machine recently, now is the time to do it. You simply take a little brush after you've taken your cover off and brush out as much of that lint as possible. Don't use air blowers, but there's usually on your machine 2 screws or a way to pop your lid off. Take your bobbin case out and give it a little bit of a brush. And then what I do is I have a paper towel next to me, and I use that paper towel and just pull out all that lint. I am so glad I did. She's running so much better than she was.
Pipe cleaner too.
Pipe cleaners are awesome too because they can get into those little crevices and stuff like that. So I gave her a good cleaning. She does not need oil. She only needs to be cleaned out every now and then, and she behaves so beautifully. So there are 2 other suggestions for this project and why I ran into a problem to begin with. One, I probably was on about my 5th project with that needle. And so every project, you're really supposed to change your needle, but we're quilters and we're sewers and we're crafters, and needles are $1 a piece. And so, right, they're just $1 a piece, y'all.
Or less.
Or less. $1 a piece. It's a needle. It's like one of the most basic things your machine. Okay,
well, that's the best part about UFOs, because you never finish a project when you get to keep using the same needle.
Right. Oh, there's some logic for you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I have changed my needle, but not only I haven't changed my needle. I am changing my needle in front of you guys. So I'm taking off. Well, it had broken, but I have done another project on here since then. And I'm changing because I've got some thickness here. I'm changing to a denim jeans needle because Agent G said these were going to work much better than what I had been using. And which I think, because I just, as a quilter and a sewer and someone who just wants to get things done, I don't think about these things. So I'm going to have much better luck with changing over to a denim and jeans needle.
Move the camera a little bit.
I can absolutely move the camera just a little bit.
I can see what you're doing.
Absolutely. And so this YouTube video, obviously, is going to come out very, very soon because I'm going to be able to finish it up now that I have changed everything out. And so I'm changing my needle out, something that's very easy to do on most machines. You'll either have a screw right here that you can unloosen, and you don't need to take the thing all the way off. All you're doing is loosening it a little bit. Your needle's going to fall right out, and then you put your needle in. 95% of sewing machines are going to make sure you're putting that needle in just the right way because they have a groove on the needle. And so it's super easy to change that needle.
It's also flat on the back.
Yeah, it's flat on the back. So that it has that. So you're not going to, you do want to make sure it's up there all the way. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change to the right tool for the job. Okay. This is a walking foot. Okay. This little baby is probably $40 or $50 depending on which one you get. And I want to show you how to put a walking foot on your machine. If you are routinely using several layers of thickness, and this has a piece of thermal batting in the center because it is a casserole carrier, and so we want to have something that's going to hold that heat in or that coolness in, and so that gives it a little bit of thickness. And I am done with it except for the fact that I just want to do a top stitch around the edge. That's all I want to do so that I can close up the opening from where I turned it inside out. Most machines, so I'm going to move this out of the way real quick. I want to show you what a walking foot looks like and what it does and why it's so miraculous. On your machines, you have feed dogs down here. These feed dogs are what feed your fabric through the machine, okay? Your presser foot doesn't do that. All it does is press your fabric to the feed dog. And so if you're only sewing 2 or 3 layers, for the most part, your feed dogs and your presser foot can handle everything just fine. But if you're working with multiple layers, which in this case I happen to be, I think actually I'm working with a double layer of that thermal batting inside because I turned it inside out. And so I should have from the get-go. And when you see the YouTube video, you won't see any of this. I will change to this walking foot. So can you get a close-up of the walking foot, Mom?
Yeah, I got it right.
I'm sorry, Agent G. Okay, so
I've got you on just the little camera right.
So if I turn this upside down, you can see how I have some feed dogs right here. And so what happens is that now I have feed dogs on the top of my fabric and on the bottom of my fabric. And so it's feeding it through just like that. And so it gives you a much more even feed, and it helps move all the fabric through. You will discover puckers less. You will have, it just is a miraculous tool. I personally was just a little bit too lazy to stick it on. It's sitting right here next to my machine. I'm not quite sure why I was lazy, but it just, I was in a hurry that day. Now, it is important to notice that most, go ahead.
I'm switching between just the little
Yep,
and
you're good. So most walking feet are going to require you to take off your shank. So most feet have a little thing, a groove, so that you can easily switch feet, right? And so you're going to need to take that off altogether. And so with my walking foot, I always keep my screwdriver so that I can not have to,
yeah.
Am I good? Okay, good. So, so that I don't have to look for the screwdriver when it's time for me to change my feet out. And then I also am good about putting my foot with the shank, leaving the shank on there and sticking it right where my walking foot was so that I can just slip it right back on. I don't use the walking foot for much. One, you're going to hear in just a second, any walking foot is extremely loud. And so I had a customer come into the shop one time who thought something was terribly wrong with their machine. And it turned out they just had the walking foot on, and all of a sudden it was making a great deal of noise. It's just the fact you got so many more parts here that it makes more noise than it should. Okay, so you'll notice that right here I have this hooky thing right here. I'm a thingy. I speak thingy big time. So the hooky thing, Vanna White over here, everyone. Yes.
Can't see him because I've just got you on the.
Oh, no worries. So that needs to go around my uptake thing. It's the same. It's the same for my machine as the screw that I just put on for my needle. Okay, that's your uptake lever that brings the thread up and down. And so this needs to be hooked onto my uptake lever. So this takes a little finesse to get it on there. So help me make sure I keep my fingers out of the way so you can see it really well. Some walking feet just lay on top, but it has to lay on top of that uptake lever or it won't move things. It won't come down and do what it's supposed to do. It's just weighted, and so it follows everything down. Keep that in mind. If you put it underneath, it's not going to work right for you, and you will not see the results that you're about to see that, well, we're hoping. I'm going to get my fingers way in here. I'm sorry. And I'm going to loosen my screw up, and then I've got to get sort of down here so that I can get it on. Can you see, Mom?
Yep.
Awesome. And then so I have it hooked around my uptake lever here, which is where I put my needle in. And then I have it hooked onto here, and now I'm going to strap it down. Strap it down. I am going to screw it in. All right. Woo!
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Yeah. All right. So now that I have a new needle in my machine, and it's the correct needle for my project, and now that I have the correct foot on my machine, this should move so much easier, but we're about to find out if this really was the trick.
You
So
also changed the needle, so it's a.
I changed the needle. I'm going to move this back a little bit. Is that okay? Because it's.
Can't see the. There
So
you go.
how about if I go over this way?
Well, that'll work.
That works? Okay, so the other thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to start right here before I get to a corner. The other thing I'm going to do when I get to the corner, I need to move my needle over. When I find my 1/4 inch, I always move my needle over. With my with my walking foot, that 1/4 inch is going to be a little bit bigger because my walking foot just happens to be bigger than a regular sewing machine foot. So the other thing that I wanted to show you that I will show on my YouTube video is that when I get, now you can't hear me, I apologize because it is so noisy. So when I get to this corner where I have all sorts of thicknesses, I even have a little tab in here and stuff, I actually start using my hand wheel, or I start using my up-down button. On my machine, I have an up-down button that will move me forward nice and slow. But you can see I am still moving forward. I'm not getting stuck or anything. I'm not having to push my fabric through. That is the wonderful beauty of a walking foot. And so sure enough, everything is moving through much better than it was the other day. And so now I can finish this video, and it just goes to show you need to have the right tools for the job. So we talked about time. I am going to stop this right. I'm just going to get a little bit over this, and then I'm going to stop this. All right. And you will see the rest in my YouTube video coming out very shortly. All right. So we talked about time. So we have not gotten as many YouTube videos completed as we wanted because of time. We've been running kids camps. We're on our 3rd week of kids camps, and we're absolutely exhausted. But next week, I have scheduled, my husband and I have scheduled specific times where we're going to be in here filming and getting all these wonderful projects. So before I go on any further, this project back here is the Cloud 9. You have seen this in different posts, and we Will was the person who Agent W was the person who finished it, but it is a UFO, and it is now almost done. Oh no, it's done.
Well, it just needs a binding.
Needs binding. Life is, it's just, anyway. But the quilting is now complete, and it is gorgeous. We are going to have this linked. It is the Cloud 9 kit. Agent W is getting ready to link that into the chat.
Agent G.
Agent G is getting ready to link that into the chat. And then
all the letters start to run together at the end of the week.
These kids have worn us out, but they have been delightful, and we have one student who has literally completed 2 stuffed animals already, and is on
tomorrow.
The 3rd tomorrow. That's all he wants to do, is he wants to create these plushies. So it's fantastic, and he's reading his own instructions now and doing it on his own. It's fantastic. So they all are. They're now reading their instructions, and one's learning how to do pajama pants now, because it was supposed to be a pajama camp, but they all wanted to do stuffed animals. So I said, okay. And then another one finished a cosmetic case today because she needed something. I mean, when you're 11,
yes.
When you're 11, you've got a lot of cosmetics you need to keep up with. and so you do, like it's a thing. I remember that tween stage with Rebecca. I mean, Agent R.
Never had it with my children.
They never wore makeup?
Don't like it.
Don't like it? Oh, you were lucky. Okay, so over here, and didn't have bags and all that other stuff to go with it. I mean, like Rebecca had 20 bags, and it was hilarious. So what's coming in YouTube video wise is we have this wonderful Folktown cats, and I have we created a pattern that has a little bit of applique, not much, will not scare you, and a little bit of applique, and it's absolutely adorable. A little bit easier, actually. It was kind of based a little off of the Gnome Garden that we've had up here for several weeks, and so it's a little bit based off of that. We were trying to make things a little simpler for you, and that will come with a free pattern, and it will be filmed next week and hopefully edited next week. The minis are done. Patterns will be going up tomorrow. The final pattern is still getting edited, but that's the one that puts it all together. But that one will be up now that we're starting to run close down camps. And then over here, another one that's getting ready to go up is, but coffee. Like, don't ask me anything until I've had my coffee.
Garfield.
I am a coffee, and all week long, my husband's been bringing me we've earned Starbucks points, and he's just been saving them, and McDonald's points, because there's no time to make coffee before camp start. And so he's been coming in every morning with this blessed cup of coffee. Anyway, but coffee, and the kids are just like, you haven't had your coffee yet, have you? I'm like, I can't even think. This course right here, or this YouTube video, is going to be an awesome video because it's using a 3-yard quilt book to demonstrate the use of directional fabric. And so I'm going to show you how in that 3-yard book to make sure that you keep those coffee cups going in the right direction. And so I'm going to help you with that and demonstrate that. And that's all out of a 3-yard quilt book. And so Agent G should be putting up the links to the Folktown Cats fabric, because
I've got clothing, I've got coffee.
okay, so she's linking the coffee right now, and she's getting ready to do the Folktown Cats. Oh, there she goes. She's like, oh yeah, I got it. We even grabbed Agent G because Agent D is on his way back from Wilmington, and so he couldn't.
Kai stay home.
And Agent K had a day off because I think the kids ran her down too much. So anyway, this is coming as a YouTube channel. A YouTube video. Anything else am I missing? And the reason why is because they have been UFOs for 3 weeks, because we just have mail get into this room, but my husband and I have scheduled time in this room next week to get the videoing done so we can get those out to you. So, yeah. Anything else?
Can't think of anything.
Can't think of anything. You're missing your sunglasses, and it's really driving me crazy. There is a dress code in headquarters 208. 208 area 208 headquarters. We're going to have a talk about that, and he's going to be dressed properly next month.
I'm just going to come up with a whole bunch of abbreviations and watch you stumble and fall.
So I hope we've inspired you to remember a UFO is already half done.
At least.
At least. Maybe it's just a binding. I want to know what movie you watch while you bind a quilt this month. I am watching The Great while I bind a quilt. Okay. I love that show, The Great. It's fantastic. So I hope. Oh, wait a minute. Get up here.
You still got a few minutes. Just aim them down.
Okay. The UFOs. Agent G says the UFOs are that way. Have a great month. Actually, we'll see you in 2 weeks for the nightcap. Bye, everyone.
Okay, how do I close this?
Stop streaming.